Questions on the condition of Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jayalalitha Jayaram. Hospital denies South Indian media reports of death.
Protests in Delhi at the Kandia accusing Minister Dayagamage of threatening Divisional Secretary.
MP tables a branch of ebony during the debate on the expenditure heads of the Ministry of Sports.
Proposal to increase MPs' allowances from the 1st of January included in Parliament agenda.
Conflict over position of party secretary. Is a Muslim Congress headed for a split?
Hello there, very good evening and welcome to your Primetime News Bulletin. I'm Shane Silva.
And I'm Jitendra Gunasena. Let's now start off with a look at the top story for tonight. Officials at the Kandia Divisional Secretariat staged a strike today, accusing Minister Dayagamage of threatening the Divisional Secretary.
The Divisional Secretary had made preliminary preparations to conduct a building belonging to the Secretariat in a section of the park in the Kandia town centre. Minister Dayagamage arrived at the location this morning and ordered the Divisional Secretary to hold the activity. I will run this race. Those who cannot keep up with me can drop out. The people of Kandia called and informed us that a building was being constructed at a cost of 90 million rupees without calling for tenders. We went there this morning. The Divisional Secretary has taken a section of the park to construct this, and I believe she has already reached a financial agreement with someone to cut down the trees. They ask people to cut down the trees and give them a sum of money. This is how things are still being done.
The legal matter had been concluded. When I arrived there, he said that this land cannot be granted to the Divisional Secretariat. The protesters gathered there, applauded, and I was faced with a difficult situation in attempting to carry out the duty of the state. So I returned to the office. The minister, accompanied by the group, came to the office and spoke to me threateningly over my departure.
Officials at the Divisional Secretariat staged a strike in protest of the minister's actions today and also organized a demonstration. Two doctors and several members of the Traders Association in the area have got together and were protesting against 25 to 30 meters of the lane being taken away from them. It was in this backdrop that Dayagamage came today, kicked the seat of the Divisional Secretary and took the administration to the dogs. Do not interfere with the public service and administration. Your terms as MPs and ministers are only for 5 years. We wish to tell these ministers not to interfere with administrative duties. We also wish to say to the ministers' henchmen, do not play games with the public service.
You're watching your Primetime News Bulletin. Up next is Action TV.
A group of bhikkhus led by the Sangha Nayaka of the Ampara district, Venerable Kiritale Gunananda Thera, arrived at the Ampara district wildlife office today to meet the district wildlife officer and register their protest over the failure to enforce forest conservation laws in the face of the destruction wrought on the Wattamadu grasslands in the Bakpitia Reserve in Timrigo Lava. The district wildlife officer evaded the meeting.
කල්මන උසාවියෙන් තහනම් කළා. ඔව් එතකොට එහෙම කියදී ඇයි තමුන්නාන්සලට මේ අත්අඩංගුවට ගන්න බැරි? මේ දේ ක්‍රියාවට ලංවා ගන්න බැරි තැනක හිර වෙලා ඉන්න තැනක තමයි මේ තියෙන්නේ. එහෙම නොවන තැනක් තියෙනවා නම් අපි මේ භූමියේ පදිංචි වෙනවා. අපි යනවා ඒ වෙන විනාශය වළක්වා ගන්න. ඒ මිනිස්සු ගස් දැඳලා හරි අපි නවත්තන්න කටයුතු කරන ඒ තැනට යන්න ඉඩ දෙන්න එපා. මොකද පොලිසියත් වරණ නිලධාරීන් අනිත් ආරක්ෂකයන් ග්‍රාම නිලධාරීන්ලත් වරණ නිලධාරීන් ප්‍රාදේශීය මේ හැමෝටම ක්‍රියා කිරීමේ හැකියාව තියෙනවා.
Although the Assistant District Wildlife Officer informed the bhikkhus that the police have a responsibility to act to prevent the destruction of protected forest land, yesterday Action TV highlighted the manner in which police officers were left helpless in the face of questions posed by unauthorized cultivators. As Action TV pointed out yesterday, a police team led by the OICs of the Tirukkovil, Akkarepattu and Potuvil police stations arrived at this location on Saturday, prepared to arrest unauthorized cultivators. Incidentally, it was the Director General of the Forest Conservation Department that requested the Senior Superintendent of Police in the area to arrest those who were illegally using tractors to till this protected grassland. The Akurepattu Divisional Forest Conservation Officer, who should have been at hand to assist the police, neglected that duty and instead sent a group of junior officers who were incapable of accepting responsibility. The unauthorized cultivators highlighted the character of the Divisional Forest Conservation Officer. The Forest Conservation Officer who did turn up at the location did not have in their possession the order issued by the Kalmune High Court and affirmed by the Court of Appeal prohibiting anyone from entering the grassland, let alone cultivating it. The Akurepattu Divisional Forest Conservation Officer only arrived at the location when the police were preparing to depart. He did not possess any documentation pertaining to the Bakmitiava Timrigola Reserve, let alone the court order prohibiting entry. The secret conservation between the Divisional Forest Conservation Officer and the chairman of the organization which is destroying this grassland shows the extent of complexity of the destruction of the Watamadu grasslands. In a backdrop where people from far-off areas are destroying this protected grassland by buying off forest conservation officers, the dairy farmers who reside adjacent to the meadow have removed their cattle from the fields out of fear that those who have no scruples with blatantly violating the law may also steal their cattle. Secretary to the President, over to you.
Minister Dayagamage foils cabinet decision to return farmland in Panama and Shrastavela in Ampara to the original owners. Makes plans to construct a tourism hub instead. Minister Dayagamage pressures the Forest Conservation Department into releasing 117 acres of land adjacent to the Buddhangala Sanctuary in Ampara for industrial purposes. Minister Dayagamage orders Ampara District Secretary to issue permits for his loyalists to excavate sand in the Galoya River. Minister Dayagamage scolds the Lahugala Divisional Secretary in public for going against his wishes and delaying the acquisition of protected forest land in Panama and Shrastavela. Today, Minister Dayagamage scolds the Divisional Secretary of Dehiyata Kandiya in public. Whose is the invisible hand behind the land grab in Ampara? For your attention.
In news overseas, a tense situation arose near the hospital in which Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Jayalalitha Jayaraam, was admitted to after suffering a cardiac arrest. The tense situation was witnessed following several media reports citing that the Chief Minister had passed away. Speaking to Newsfirst, the Indian High Commission in Sri Lanka said that the media reports citing her death are baseless and that the Chief Minister's health condition continues to be monitored.
Jayalalitha Jayaraam was admitted to a private hospital on the 22nd of September over an illness.
As per the press release issued by the Apollo Hospital, Chennai, the Honorable Chief Minister continues to be on the life support and her condition is being monitored by Apollo Hospitals as well as doctors from the aid. Reports from some section of the media quoting that Honorable Chief Minister is no more are incorrect and false. She continues to be on the life support.
An unrest was seen around the hospital in which the Chief Minister was admitted to following media reports of her demise. Police security was beefed up as a number of members of the Chief Minister-led party, AIADMK, had attempted to enter the hospital premises. Cameras had also captured footage of the flag being hoisted at half-mast opposite the AIADMK party headquarters.
That's when the lactic acid levels really would go up, and the fact that
There is a situation right now happens to be exactly what was about a couple of hours ago, that she progressed from critical to very critical to grave. These are the exact words that the hospital where she's been admitted, Apollo Hospital, has used. So I believe that a procedure called ECMO, which basically is a heart-lung machine, has the assessment of this heart-lung machine, the efficacy of this machine has to be determined, and that determination is going to be done between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. Yes, some Tamil channels have announced that she has passed away, and later they had to retract because Apollo itself put out a press release which said that she is alive, and that some TV channels have reported that she is no more, and that information is wrong. So So we'll have to wait for word from Apollo, but yes, she's in a very precarious near-death situation. We'll still have to wait for official word on that. We have no more information apart from the fact that Apollo maintains that he is very critical.
The following sentiments were expressed at a media briefing convened by the Anti-Corruption Front today.
Nishan Gunasekara served as the Nilame of the Devinuwara Devalaya. He is a close relative of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa. In 2012, he was appointed as the chairman of Lanka Mineral Sands. This company obtained a loan from Bank of Ceylon amounting to $4.2 million or about 550 million rupees. Using this 550 million, equipment was purchased for a factory. However, such a factory has not been built anywhere in Sri Lanka. There is another investigation underway into this company. What happened to the 40 million rupees given to build the Hammanthura Beach Park? 40 million rupees was given and they haven't even lifted a grain of sand there. Who did the money go to? As per Nama Rajapaksa's request, the money has gone to the Urban Development Authority. However, the investigation is not progressing beyond that. Who is influencing it? Who is stalling it?
මේ විමර්ශනය මෙතනින් එහාට යන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක සඳහා තියෙන බලපෑම කවුද? ඒක නවත්තන්නේ කවුද? මේකද නීතියේ තියෙන සමානතාවය.
Is this the equality of the law? The Minister of Law and Order must come out of hiding and make a statement on this. The previous Minister Tilak Marapana accepted his mistake and resigned his position.
තමන්ගෙන් වෙච්ච වැරද්ද පිළි අරගෙන තමන් එයින් ඉවත් වෙලා ගියා.
Moving on to more local news, the policies employed by the government over the controversial bond transaction came under fire today as well. However, State Minister of Finance Lakshman Yapabewardena assured that the President will take the necessary measures in line with the powers vested in him.
If a decision was taken within the 100 days, then the UMP could have obtained a 50% majority. But after the bond scam was brought to light, no action was taken as a result. The voters in the middle did not go to the polls on election day. When election comes around, the President and this government will clearly have to answer to the people. A Prime Minister must act within a certain degree of self-respect. It has now well and truly come to light through the COPE report and the Auditor General's report that large-scale fraud took place during the bond auction at the Central Bank. The Central Bank is still in the hands of the Prime Minister. If an impartial investigation is to be held, then it is the duty of the Prime Minister to step aside and create an environment free of influence and allow a clean investigation. We have made 11 recommendations. The 11 recommendations are now in the hands of the President. The President is waiting for the debate in Parliament. Once the report is adopted in Parliament and following on the decisions made there, if it appears to the President that it is not being carried out legitimately, then he will not falter in exercising his powers.
What are the forces behind the new party? Speaking in Hakmana Mathura yesterday, UPFA General Secretary Minister Mahinda Amaravira elaborated further.
They are forming a new party. What is the need for a new party? The head of state is from the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, so why are more parties needed? However, those who form the party scream during the day and during the night, they settle it through various deals. All these deals take place at a house close to water's edge. All the programs to split parties are successfully taking place at this house. But just recently, they got caught red-handed as to who is helping whom. All this time, we were the ones who were charged of helping the UMP. So now, who spoke on behalf of the joint opposition? All of this has been exposed now. It is the same with the rest. All of their deals were settled the exact same way. So as means of returning the favour, this new party is being created in a bid to split the SLFP and give it to the UMP on a platter.
The following views were expressed by the leader of the Communist Party in Sri Lanka at the Fidel Castro Memorial last evening.
There were black people, white people, yellow people and even brown people in Cuba. There were natives and migrants. There were people from various religions. All of these people were brought together. If they were not brought together, they would have never been able to defend their country from the superpower USA, which was just 90 miles away. They would poke their fingers into their affairs. That is what has happened to us. We have gained independence but have not been able to create national unity. That is why the colonialists poke their fingers here. We have to learn the lesson from Castro.
Speaking in Parliament today during the debate on the expenditure heads of the Ministry of Health, President Maithripala Sirisena made a request from Sri Lankan doctors living overseas.
A person cannot become a doctor in just a year or two. A person cannot become a nurse in a month or two either. I make a request in this house today for all Sri Lankan specialist doctors and those in the nursing service who have intentions to leave the country to seek employment overseas to think about the country, its people and their own relatives before doing so and try as much as possible to remain in the country. Moreover, there are over 15,000 Sri Lankan doctors who are serving overseas. I request all of them to return to the country and serve its people at least for a short period of time.
In more local news, UMP parliamentarian Ananda Alutkamage tabled a branch of an ebony tree in Parliament today during the debate on the expenditure heads of the Ministry of Sport.
Former Sports Minister Mahindananda Alutkamage took part in the debate and said that ebony trees are being cut down in Navalapitiya. He is asking if there isn't an AG or a police in Navalapitiya. There were 18 breadfruit trees at the Central College. Where were they taken to? It was brought to the Naval house of Mahindananda Alutkamage. The Kalura trees were brought in from Amblipitiya in a lorry which belongs to the cooperatives. Were these brought in with a license? 18 Kumbuk trees were cut down in Maoya. Where are the license for these? Kumbuk and Kalura have been used for this house. Where is the license and where can you find Kalura and Kumbuk trees in Colombo?
තනිකර කළුවර කුබුක් කොහෙන්ද බලපත්‍රයක් තියෙන්නේ කොළඹ තියෙනවද කළුවර කුබුක් කොයිදෝ බුරුත ගස් මධ්‍යම පළාතට එහි නැති ගසක් ගැන කීවේ මුලාවට සිහින ගෙදර උන්දගේ චෝදනාවට මහී බොරු කියයි මේ ගරු සභාවට මේ බුරුතාත්ත ගෙලතුන මේ සභාගත කරන ගරු සභාපතිතුමනි බුරුතගහ ඇතුළත් කියන ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙනවා
දැනගන්න මේ සභාගත කරපේ කොහොමද හැන්සාඩ් වාර්තාවට එන්නේ කියන මේ බුරුතාත්ත
To a story that made the headlines tonight now, the proposal to increase MPs' allowances from the 1st of January has been included in the order paper in Parliament. Incidentally, it took less than a month for the Cabinet of Ministers to approve this proposal and enter it into the order paper.
As per the proposal included in the order paper by the Minister of Parliamentary Reforms and Mass Media, from the 1st of January each Member of Parliament will receive 100,000 rupees per month to cover the cost of maintaining an office. In addition, the attendance allowance of 500 rupees paid to each MP for attending a sitting of Parliament has been increased to 2,500 rupees. This proposal too has received Cabinet approval. This footage shows the mode of transport used to travel to Parliament by some of the MPs who are set to receive the aforementioned benefits from the 1st of January.
The London Stock Exchange Group opened its new technology facility in Colombo today.
The new London Stock Exchange facility was declared open by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and Chairman of LSEG Donald Bryan. The event was attended by a large gathering including Ministers Ravi Karunanayake and Patili Chompika Ranabaka.
You've decided to come here to start this facility. This is a result of the stable government, the macroeconomic stabilization program that the government headed by Maithripala Sirisena President has introduced. And you place confidence in us, and after the elections you announce your decision to start this operation. You will not regret it. First and foremost, so there will be many opportunities for financial markets. We've been discussing these issues even today, and you made a correct choice.
There appears to be a crisis surrounding the post of the General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress.
The matter was also reported in several English print media today. The situation had arisen on the 7th of November 2015 when the party constitution was amended, where the post of additional secretary was introduced to the existing post of general secretary. During the 26th annual convention of the party on the 8th of November 2015, ACA Mohammad Mansoor was appointed to this newly introduced post. The appointment was made in a bid to streamline the internal affairs of the party. The post was identified as the High Committee Secretary of the party. However, according to internal sources from the party, the leader of the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress, Minister Rauf Hakim, had made a request from the Elections Commission to accept Mohammad Mansoor as the secretary of the party. The General Secretary of the SLMC, Hassan Ali, had written to the Elections Commission opposing this request made by the party leader. A letter sent by the chairman of the Elections Commission, Mahinda Deshapriya, to Minister Rauf Hakim on the 16th of last month confirms that the Commission is also involved in a crisis with regard to the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress. The Elections Commission chairman points out that since there are amendments to the Constitution, the Commission remains confused as to who it should liaise with on constitutional matters. The Commission has informed the party leadership to resolve the matter and establish one of the two posts and revert to the Commission before the 15th of this month. The letter issued by Mahinda Deshapriya adds that failure to do so, the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress will be considered as a party with opposing groups when carrying out tasks which need to be carried out at upcoming elections.
The foundation stone was laid today for the 62nd model village of the 77 housing project under the auspices of Minister of Housing and Construction, Sajith Premadasa.
The village has been constructed in the Valsapagala area in Suryavava will consist of 18 houses. Minister Sajith Premadasa made a financial donation to an association for the visually impaired and also presented land deeds to a selected group of people.
Electorates were turned into multi-seats and the multi-seats were then turned to electorates according to their whims and fancies and as per their families' wishes. Subsequent to orders issued by the monarch, they carved out the local government delimitations. And after taking measures for demarcations, they even designed a voting system that serves their purpose. And now they are ordering us to take immediate actions to hold elections and threatening to hold back taxes. I would state with much responsibility that we on behalf of the government of good governance are not prepared to hold local government elections in electorates that were designed by Basil Rajapaksa. We will not agree with that at any cost.
The GCE Ordinary Level Examination is set to commence tomorrow. Around 700,000 students will be sitting for the examinations this year, which incidentally is the highest number of applicants ever recorded to have sat for the examination. The Department of Examinations says that while 5,669 examination centres have been set up, the number of coordination centres have also been increased. It added that 65,524 invigilators have been assigned to conduct the examination.
In sports news, it's cricket. Former Sri Lankan Test cricketers Hashan Tilakaratne and Upul Chandana have been included into the coaching department of Sri Lanka cricket to uplift the skills of the players. The announcement was made at the official media briefing to reveal the coaching program for 2016 at Sports Ministry Auditorium today.
Hashan Tilakaratne has been appointed to assist in the batting department of Sri Lanka cricket, while Upul Chandana will assist in the coaching department. There is no shortcoming in the knowledge of our cricketers. We must use the experience of these coaches and combine it with the knowledge these young cricketers possess and assist these young players. This is the first step of our journey. We intend on obtaining the knowledge of former players like Mahela, Sangakkara, Muralidharan and Asanka Gurusinghe to improve the coaching department of Sri Lanka. Self-confidence is the most important factor. So it is important that we choose characters like this. The mistake that we do is that we pick the player who scores the most number of runs in domestic cricket and include him to the national squad. But the truth is that player lacks the required mentality for this level of cricket.
Well, that's all the news we have for you for tonight. Thank you for joining us. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Jitendra Gunasena.
And I'm Sharon Silva. Take care and good night.